William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I welcome you to another Two Hats special of community events. Let's look in and see what's really happening.
And good afternoon and welcome to Lambda Weekly. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with Lerone Landis, and Patti Fink just breathlessly ran into the studio. Our guests today are from the Coalition for Aging LGBT. I bet you thought I was going to say are from the Trump campaign.
That wouldn't have surprised me.
Okay, yeah, no. From the Coalition for Aging LGBT, which held a conference in Tarrant County yesterday. Our guests are Vic Holmes, who has been on our show before, from your lawsuit.
Yeah, that thing we did. We sued Texas for the right to marry.
Yeah, that's going away. Melodía Gutiérrez and Kathy Bowser are also with us, and they helped organize this event yesterday. First of all, Patti.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Well, I'm not doing terribly well. Actually.
Wait. We're doing a little dance here.
Okay.
Because she just got completely twisted up in my
your wires.
My wires. We just want to make sure that you're.
Well,
okay.
I think we have to acknowledge. I think it's ludicrous for us to talk about aging if we don't acknowledge this election, frankly. Because there are people who in the next many days, particularly our trans brothers and sisters, who are going to be suffering enormously. All of those things that President Obama has advanced, especially for trans people, to get their identity documents, to get passports, to do all of those things, that's going away.
To be able to go to the bathroom.
It's going to be a serious topic. Yes. So I just want to, before we launch into talking,
so we got to do something.
we got to do something to stop this, because it's going to hurt a lot of people. So while we may talk about some long-term things and short-term things in terms of aging, we have a serious crisis in our community that I think is important that we acknowledge.
Kathy,
absolutely.
Did you have something? You look like you're leaning into the mic.
I'm just agreeing that is an immediate situation.
Yeah.
We're just holding it to go to the bathroom.
Pardon me?
We're just holding it to go to the bathroom.
It is Pledge Drive this week, and we do need to start with that. KNON survives on your donations. Our pledge goal for this show is $600, and we are not near that goal. So give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Or go to our webpage, knon.org, click on the pledge button, and just fill out, it's just a little bit of information that we need, name, address, phone, that kind of thing. How you're going to pay, like credit card, or if you're going to send us a check. The other thing that you can do is just do a monthly draft from your checking account, and if you'd like to do that, you can give us a call and just let us know that you're going to do that. Somebody from the office will get your information later in the week. One of our pledge premiums that we have, and that's I guess it was in our pledge packet, so not every show is offering this. For a $500 pledge, you get an elite music sponsorship bonus pack, and the bonus pack this time is mezzanine front row mezzanine seats for Jay Leno on Tuesday, December 6th at 8 p.m. at the Winspear Opera House. Oh, wow. The Elite Sponsor Package, though, gives you 2 tickets to every KNON event for a year, plus you get 2 matching KNON T-shirts to show off at KNON events. So if you'd like that pledge premium, and that's worth a whole lot more, 40 events that we run a year, all of them have food, all of them have entertainment, plus these tickets for Jay Leno, that's like half of that pledge premium right there. 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. but you can call to make any pledge amount that you'd like to do.
And I think it's a great offer. It's an incredible offer. For $500, you can be an elite music sponsor. And Aaron and I have done this in the past, and your name just lives on the list.
Yeah, you don't have to, like, for every event you get a ticket, or a new set of tickets. No, your name is just
you
there.
Just show up.
Just show up.
Your name's always on the list. You just walk right in. It's a great deal. And KNON has some spectacular music, live music, like no other, and some great food too. So be sure to show up for those. It's for $500. This time you get to see Jay Leno right in the front row of the mezzanine section.
Mezzanine.
Yeah,
which is perfect seats.
Yeah,
I've sat there
awesome.
before.
And that's a great house. Winspier's beautiful. So, again, give us a call at 972-647-1893. Josh and Chris are both standing by.
Yeah, they
and
are.
Gene.
Well, yeah, Josh and Chris is just our split personality. Regular phone operator here, and board operator. Well, see, that's the difference. Is it Chris or is it Josh who does the phone?
Chris does the phones and Josh does the board.
Our guests today are Vic, Melodía, and Kathy. They are from the Coalition for Aging LGBT. Vic, you've aged very nicely since the last time you've been on.
Thank you. Yes, I look much better on radio.
Especially without the cameras that we used to have in the studio.
Oh, awesome. This is a bonus.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit about yesterday's event.
Well, yesterday's event was pretty spectacular in that it's the first time that there's been a summit of this kind in Fort Worth. It was specifically tailored to the aging LGBT population, because we have a lot of issues that we need to work out there in terms of housing, legal legislation, things that the typical population 20 to 55 just doesn't really have to deal with. Kathy?
We had about 150 people attending, and
Wow.
we had City of Fort Worth was one of our partners, Q Cinema was one of our partners. We had a number of sponsors that were people and organizations from the community. We felt like this opened up a whole new way of thinking for the LGBT community. You know, as our founder says, Knon, for 35 years, we've been fighting to live. We didn't think we'd get this old, but it's happening. And the silver tsunami that's happening not just in our community, but all across the world, of these baby boomers that are coming through the system, nobody's ready for it. And when you look for specifically services that are targeted to the LGBT community, senior services, they don't exist here in our area. So this has become a really very important thing for us to do. Our community has so much experience at changing the world, of doing things that are needed to be done for our community. So it was critically important that we just make people aware, raise the issue, and this was only a springboard. It was only the beginning of what needs to happen. So we were very pleased.
Yeah, as she said, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
So as she said, there's a silver tsunami. Basically, folks are getting older, but when you think about the population in general, 20, 25 years ago, 1 in 20 people, 1 in 25 people was 65 and above. Now it's 1 in 4. And, well, it's getting towards 1 in 4. By the time 2030 hits, it will be 1 in 4. And in 2030, we'll still be here. So we need to find ways now to prepare ourselves, our community, for the services that we're going to need, because the world that we make now is the one we're going to have to live in then.
I'm glad that this is happening in Tarrant County. A lot of things, most of the big things always happen over here in Dallas County. I think sometimes Fort Worth gets forgotten. So this is awesome. But further show, we were talking about some of the issues. What is, for people who are listening may not understand, what's the difference between a senior gay person and a senior straight person? As far as, living and challenges of living as a senior person, what are some of those?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is our family systems. Most of us don't have children. Most of us our friends, our spouses and partners are around our age. And there's an awakening here about what are we going to do when we need at least 5 people to support us as we go through the aging process. Who are the folks that are going to be there for us? And that was a huge awakening, I think, for most of the people who were there yesterday. They hadn't really thought about that. And if I may tell a personal story, I used to have an executor, my sister, who's also gay, was my executor. We're almost the same age. Mm-hmm. So when I come to need that level of help, my sister will be in the same boat mm-hmm. and won't be able to help me. So this is something that we hadn't even thought about, mm-hmm. most of us.
Yeah. You know, one of the things about creating these services, though, where we have an advantage, about 30 years ago when we had to create AIDS services, we were creating them out of nothing. We were getting no help. We were getting absolute, the idea that Fort Worth was a sponsor of this event. Yeah, if we did an AIDS event in 1985, the city of Dallas be a sponsor, we were lucky if we could get a police officer at the event. So we created all these services that we needed, and we created a number of really solid institutions that we have. So creating these events, they're not so different than things that are out there, because with AIDS we had nothing to model it on, and if anything we modeled it on aging services to some extent. But here we can take other aging services and adapt them to what we need in the LGBT community, I would think.
And that adaptation is actually pretty important, because we are very good as a community at coming together to solve a crisis. We had the HIV/AIDS crisis. It's not solved, but we have come a long way, and a lot of that work was work that we did. We instigated it. We didn't wait for someone to come along with a magic wand and fix it. We brought our own little magic wand and sprinkles, and we did it ourselves. So that's where we are now. We know that this problem is coming, so we're trying to find a solution. But part of that solution is to use what we already have. We can't go out and build 100 new nursing homes. We can't go out and build 100 new assisted living care facilities that are specifically for the LGBT community. There's not enough space, there's not enough time, there's not enough money for that. So instead, the better watchword is integration with and partnership with all the facilities that exist now. So working with everyone now, and part of that process is educating them on our issues and the specific needs that we have.
And I know that a big pet peeve and a problem that we have in terms of aging and using existing facilities is discrimination. The idea that a gay couple could move into a nursing home and be treated equally and without disdain or contempt is pretty far-fetched for a lot of people. And I know a lot of people are, as we approach aging, the age where we might need those services, it's pretty darn scary. For a lot of people it is. And there's no way to just look up and see how are these people really going to treat me and my spouse.
Couldn't agree with you more, Patti. The thing that we have discovered is through surveys that at least 50% of nursing assisted living staff have issues with LGBT folks. And
okay, here's what I don't get at all, and I know that it's out there. I know your statistics. We've gone over them and found that that's. If you're in healthcare, how can you feel discrimination towards anyone? Your main goal is to keep people healthy and happy. People, everyone.
As a healthcare provider.
No, I'm not questioning the statistic. I'm saying, who are these people?
As a healthcare provider, I can tell you that you're right. Our primary goal is to bring people back to health and try to keep them there. That's true. And functionally, that is what we do. I will also say, though, that these are people. These are people with their own ideas. These are people with their own opinions. They're people with their own morals. And they are people with their own backgrounds. And that is usually what colors their thoughts on how they're going to treat other people. People that are just like you, that doesn't seem to pose a problem. But when they're not like you, then you have to go back to, well, what am I supposed to do to somebody? And that's where being
somebody has a heart problem. You treat the black person with a heart problem the same way you treat somebody.
Right, medicine for one is medicine for all. That's true. And that's
you
where
walk
we're
into
doing
somebody's
this.
room and say hello to them. How are you today? Not how are you today, gay person.
I have never done that, so you're right.
It's like that's where somebody in healthcare should be somebody who is really caring. You shouldn't go into the profession if you're not. It's not that I'm saying this doesn't happen. It's that it astounds me that people.
And I get that. And that is actually where this educational piece comes from, because if people don't understand something, they're more inclined to be afraid of it, and that is what really cues them to act the way that they do towards these people. People that aren't like you, you're more inclined to be fearful, you're more inclined to be angry because they're different, unless you have some other frame to work from. So part of this education process is to give people a framework that says, yes, these people may be different, but they're still people that you can take care of. They're still people that are worthy and deserving of your concern and consideration. And doing these educational efforts like this in the different counties and as we're going outwards, that's really our goal, is to show not just the allies that we have, but also the potential allies that we can have, that, hey, we are people just like everyone else, and we do need your care, your consideration, and here's the framework to work with that.
And here's again where it exasperates me.
I know.
They're fearful of the gay person in a nursing home bed. Makes no sense. We need to take a break. You're listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3 Knon FM. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with Lerone Landis and the late Patti Fink. It is Pledge Drive, so give us a call, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893.
Call us, 972-647-1893.
Call us.
Okay, we'll do some of the pledge premiums after the break.
Yep.
Okay. Josh? Or is that Chris?
It looks like
Take it
Josh.
away.
I'm Patti Fink, and you're listening to Lambda Weekly on Knon 89.3 FM.
And this is Lambda Weekly. I'm Dave Taffet here in the studio with the late Patti Fink and with Lerone Landis, and we're talking about the Coalition for Aging LGBT, things that our community needs to be aware of as they age.
And prepare for.
And prepare for, sure. But it is Pledge Drive, 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893.
We have some fantastic fall pledge premiums. We have the Knon. This is lovely. Knon holiday ornament. It's a red circular plastic ornament with gold snowflakes and the Knon Voice of the People logo. How about that?
It's a holiday ornament.
It's a holiday
you can
ornament.
Use it on your Hanukkah bush, on your Muslim whatever. It's for everybody.
It's a holiday ornament.
Okay, now who has their bushes or Christmas trees already up?
Patty and Aaron.
Oh gosh, no. So let's not even go there. It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Some people do, though.
You know what? Somebody posted on Facebook today that I forgot what station it was, is playing holiday movies. And, you know, we can get away from the election and watch holiday movies. And so I went on and I said, oh, Rosh Hashanah is over. It's been over for more than a month. I'm tired of these Yom Kippur movies.
It's just crazy. But you can get that holiday ornament for a $35 pledge, or you can get two for a $50 pledge.
Two of them.
So, that's an exciting thing.
Oh, and you can also get the Knon lightweight long sleeve T-shirt, and they look really cool this year. I wish we had a camera now so we could just focus up there. And you can get one of those from a small all the way up to a 5 extra large size. You can get one for $50 or two for $90. Again, it's slowly turning cold, but it is getting there, so they will come in handy. Give us a call and get one of those at 972-647-1893.
And for a $500 Elite Music sponsorship, we have the Elite Music Sponsorship bonus pack this time. We have one pair of tickets, so we can only get one of these. We can have more people who pledge for the Elite Music sponsorship, but only one of these. We have 2 tickets that will be included for Jay Leno, Tuesday, December 8th, December 6th at 8 p.m. It's December 6th at the Windspear Opera House. Now, the elite sponsor package includes 2 tickets to every event that KNON does. And we do about 40 events a year. There's always food at the events. If you were to pay for all of this, I don't know how much it would be, but, think of concert tickets and then think of going out to dinner. It's all included. Your name's just on the list. Actually, the people who work the door, usually the same people over and over again. We have some great volunteers, so they just even get to know you, and you just come on in. So give us a call. All we need is your just basic information. This one would have to be paid before you get the tickets. So normally we say, you have the 3 months during this pledge period to make that pledge and to pay the pledge. But on this one, we would have to have that money in within the next couple of weeks. So 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893.
And I'm going to go back to Canvas. Everything Canvas that we have is fantastic. For years, I've pushed the apron. The KNON apron is just a spectacular, wonderful thing. But now my new love, everybody, is the KNON Canvas shopping bag. Now, you can't beat these for practicality. These are deep, and they've got an enormously long shoulder strap, so that you can actually sling it over your shoulder, and it can carry heavy cans, whatever you're buying.
And when you say extremely long, now on a normal sized person, it just hangs down to your waist. Patty is practically dragging on the floor, but she still uses it.
I can still, by utter strength, carry it above the ground. But I love these. I have a lot of these, and I just recommend them highly. And you can get one yourself for a $50 pledge. So, give us a call, 972-647-1893.
And I'm going to go to, I love my hoodies. I don't know how many of them at the house. Now you can get one with the KNON logo on it. Again, it's not that cold out there yet, but it's getting there. And you can get one of these for only $80, and it has the KNON logo on it, and it comes in different colors, black or gray. And again, love the hoodies. 972-647-1893.
And today our guests are Vic Holmes, Melodía Gutiérrez, and Kathy Bowser. Melodía just came to the microphone, and we're talking about the Coalition for Aging LGBT. Melodía, what was your role in the organization?
So I am a committee member. I was responsible for helping moving the planning process forward. One of my favorite projects to work on was publicity outreach. So we had a publicity crawl where we hit up the bars in Fort Worth and let them know about our issue.
And you did well because attendance was great.
Yes, attendance was really well, and it's the issues, talking about these issues, I think, was the most important part of it. Sure, raising publicity for the event was key and vital, but what we found as we were doing this outreach in the pubs and the bars were that, again, people didn't know there was an issue. And I think a lot of us like to think, oh, we're going to be young forever and invincible, and this won't affect us.
Well, I am, but I understand all of you.
But everyone else.
I am very sympathetic, especially to Vic, who's sitting over there just
we can't all look as fabulous as you both, as you
nodding
two.
Off in his senior years, his twilight years.
Thank you, David.
Talk a little bit about the issue of discrimination, because one of the things that people don't realize, like one of the things we heard a lot this week after the election was, oh, get over it. Oh, get over it. And I understand that to a certain extent. The election is over, and we do accept the results because it was a legal election. There were no shenanigans with this. It was not rigged. We know all that. Oh, get over it, though, is not showing any empathy towards anybody. But you and I can get over it. Somebody who's older, who's facing harassment and not just discrimination, but harmful physical abuse, can't defend themselves necessarily. How is that addressed?
You're correct. We have had one of the psychologists, a PhD psychologist from UNT, come and present about the effects of many things that are negative in our community. And one of them was the whole area of discrimination. And what happens if a person is discriminated against is that they often turn it inward. They often say experience shame. They have very, very great difficulty with coping. And of course, depression is what can ensue.
I would
in
think,
our community, that's very, very high.
I would think also just the fear of just going outside again.
Number one fear among elder LGBT folks is senior housing. Mm-hmm. And not just going back in the closet. You know, there's this level in the hierarchy of needs of a human being. Being treated equal is not enough. Mm-hmm. We go up the ladder to the place where you're not only accepted, but you're cared about mm-hmm. in an emotional way as well as in a clinical way. And so many, many people in that age group who are already living in transitional senior housing do go back into the closet. They're afraid. They don't know how they'll be treated, not only by the staff, but by the other residents. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the huge barriers that we're taking on for our first project outside of the summit, and that is to give senior living facilities an equality index. And that will be coming up this year in 2017 and publishing those results. The HRC has been successful with that for municipal. They've been successful in healthcare, and they've worked with us to make this happen.
And a political scorecard for Congress?
Yes, that would, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure.
So
yeah.
they've worked with us to develop the instrument. We have the instrument, and now we'll be recruiting senior living facilities to take it on a beta test basis. Mm-hmm. So that will be next on our agenda.
You know, we talk about how medical staff may not be always as they should be with LGBT individuals, senior individuals, because they don't even think about that. They're not even thinking about that the patients or the clients that they have might be gay or lesbian. If you think we're forgotten about, think what it must be like for senior trans individuals. And you were telling me about before the show that there was a film that just came out that you just showed, and it was pretty eye-opening about that. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, the film is called Gen Silent, and the committee, thankfully, which was established by Knon, immediately showed our committee members, all of us planning this film, and it's surfacing the issues that aging LGBT individuals experience as they age, such as social isolation, or for transgendered individuals receiving quality care, or and that's something that we surfaced at, and I don't know if I told you this, Kathy, but one of my colleagues that came out to the summit that's at a local hospital said, I don't even know if we have the human capability to be able to care for a transgendered individual if they came in. We don't know what I don't think there's a procedure. I don't know what we're going to do. This is something that I need to raise a flag about when I get back to work on Monday.
Oh, okay. That sounded horrible.
That sounds horrible.
But I better raise the flag about it on Monday. Says, okay, this is an issue, and we are going to address it.
Right, and we all live in our bubble of privilege. We have to accept that, and it's great that we have these educational symposiums and these summits that bring these issues to light and help us, all of us, collectively work towards a better reality that's inclusive for everyone.
At the end of our summit, the City of Fort Worth, in partnership with Q Cinema, showed that film.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was fantastic. And so many people stayed. It was late in the afternoon. They stayed and they watched it. And they walked out, many of them looking absolutely dazed. Mm-hmm. Because it's one thing to talk about it from an academic point of view as you're sitting at the large university. It's a whole other thing to see a film about it. Mm-hmm. So that was very impactful. And I know that our next step in Tarrant County, about 50 people signed up to join the coalition. And so we will be contacting those people and get them on board in the projects we have.
Another issue that we talked about, and that is children. I know a lot of people think that the course of life is, you get married, you grow older, and when you need something, you just turn to your children. Well, for this generation of the LGBT community, most of them do not have children. And if they do, as I was talking to Kathy about, a lot of them, those children were the products of a heterosexual relationship or marriage. And sometimes the kids aren't always even involved in their lives, which is sad. But have you talked or spoke with any people who said that they have no more contact with their children because they came out?
In my former life as a pastor, yes. I talked to many people who were members of our church who had nothing to do with their family, and they were parents, and their children had nothing to do with them. So there's no guarantee, of course, in having children, but in our community, it's not all that unusual for the children to be estranged from their parents.
And Kathy, when you talk about a past life, you're not talking about like a Shirley MacLaine past life.
No. I'm recently retired pastor.
I just wanted to make that clear. Because this is Lambda Weekly.
She was an empress in her other life.
It is Pledge Drive, and the number here is 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. The Jay Leno tickets are gone. And we'd like to thank Vic and Mark for that donation. That's a very nice donation.
Thank you very much.
That is one. Thank you, Vic and Mark.
Thank you.
And 972-647-1893. Give us a call. Operators are standing by. One of them has only one personality. One of them is split personality. So whichever one answers the phone, that even our split personality one usually is able to just focus on that one personality. Yeah. Okay. And we are talking about the Coalition for Aging LGBT, which is working on issues that specifically face the LGBT community as they age. Are you finding that there are certain issues that are just the same as anybody else deals with, but just being LGBT, people are afraid to get those services, are afraid to, because there aren't. I've always gone to a gay doctor. I live in a gay neighborhood. I work for a gay company. If I
gay
had
synagogue,
I go to gay synagogue,
work for gay paper.
Yeah. So
is there a grocery store? Is there a grocery store?
There really isn't anymore. There used to be Mary Thumb, where I always used to shop, but they're gone. So I go to the Hispanic supermarket next door to my
But you know what?
house.
Pretty much any Whole Foods is
That's true.
You're there.
That's true. I'm happy at my Hispanic market actually, but that's venturing out of my community, basically, which I never do. If I had to live in the most gay-friendly, straight, senior citizen center and had to deal with, I live in an apartment right now, and there are straight people there. Well, the managers who work there and the maintenance people, they're not straight. So I kind of take that back. But if I had to live in a regular nursing home, most caring community, that would be an adjustment for me.
An adjustment for anyone. One thing we were surfacing before we came on air was Texas has the worst nursing home quality care system in the U.S.
Number 50.
For everybody. For everybody. So just think what it's like being a minority from that point.
When you have a hotline to call to report elderly abuse within care facilities.
Dads.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Dads. Is that the number? Okay. Have you ever looked at who they protect?
No.
We're not on it. We're not on the list.
That doesn't surprise me.
And one thing we're working on.
I've read it. Because I was like, okay, are we on the list? No, we're not on the list.
Are you working toward? Have you engaged?
We have talked with an unofficial official from Dads, invited them to come on to the coalition, and I was told that they weren't permitted to. Their state employees. They weren't permitted to come on to the commission.
See, and this is what I fear. I know out there with among our listeners are people who are very afraid today, and maybe a week ago they were not. And so and we've heard hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of incidents of hate crimes, basically, against everyone who's not
straight white men.
Basically straight white men.
Yeah.
But it's basically cisgendered, heterosexual, abled, Christian, white people. Those are the only people really have any protections in our society today. I mean, just like leaving the studio and stopping by the grocery store and going home. That kind of safety. And so I can only imagine the terror of people who are older and facing discrimination.
KNON depends on listener support, and now is the time for you to
This is an issue we have got to address, because the fear that already existed was legitimate. Mm-hmm. The fear that we have now, this whole added veneer of fear among our community because of these hate crimes that are taking place, and really despicable things, we have got to step up. We've got to step up and protect our community.
What are some some easy things that we can do as a community to protect ourselves? Particularly, you were saying how our friends are usually our same ages or our spouses, and so they're dealing with the same thing. What can we do to protect ourselves?
I could speak to what we can do organizationally.
Okay.
And that is, we are striving to build these coalitions of people. Melodía is with AARP. AARP.
Yay! Member.
Yeah, we are. All are.
I'll bring some goodies in for you.
Oh, cool. Yay!
And they have power.
Mm-hmm.
As an advocacy organization, there's nobody like them across the whole country. So here, they are in it with us.
That's fantastic.
So organizationally, we are building relationships with UNT Health Science Center, the UTA School of Social Work. We are trying to get the big players who have the kind of power to come on board with the coalition, because that's what will change things.
And we need
power and resources.
Mm-hmm. We need to take a break. You're listening to Lambda Weekly on 89.3 KNON FM. It is Pledge Drive. Our number is 972-647-1893. That's 972-647-1893. Give us a call. Operators are standing by. And like I mentioned on the last show, they're standing by right here in the studio. If you call that other station to make a pledge, operators are standing by somewhere in another part of the country. But we care enough about your money, and your money stays here. It stays local. It only goes towards supporting the basics of running a radio station. It's the rent. It's the tower rent. It's the electric bill and the phone bill to get the signal from the station to the tower down in Cedar Hill. So give us a call, 972-647-1893.
We are standing by and waiting for your call.
Hi, this is Lero Lil, and I listen to Lambda Weekly. I hope that you will too.
And this is Lambda Weekly on 89.3 KNON FM. It is Pledge Drive 972-647-1893. One of the things that helps the station more than anything is if you are a monthly pledger. If you'd like to pledge, an amount like $20 a month is a wonderful pledge. 972-647-1893. We'll just explain to you, take your basic information and explain to you what we need. Basically, somebody from the office will call you during the week and set that up with you. But 972-647-1893.
And we have just a huge amount of great pledge premiums. You can go online to knon.org, click on Pledge Now, and you can see and select all any of your choices for pledge premiums. We've got T-shirts, we've got bumper stickers that you'll get it for free anyway with the pledge. But we have so many things: backpacks, canvas shopping bags, aprons, hats.
You get a canvas apron.
It is a canvas apron, and the backpacks are out of canvas. And the backpacks are great. We have umbrellas.
Hoodies.
We have We have all kinds of
Shirts,
things.
hats.
And I'll tell you what, it's a great experience going out and navigating the community in your KNON wear and getting that thumbs up or that KNON nod from other people who listen to KNON, and they appreciate you right on the spot.
Yeah.
It's great advertising for KNON as well. So give us a shout, 972-647-1893.
And our guests today are from the Coalition for Aging LGBT. We have Vic Holmes, Melodía. This is an accent on Melodía. Okay, Melodía Gutiérrez and Kathy Bowser.
And I just want to point out, as much as we've been talking about some of the horrors that could come with, getting older, we do have allies. We do have allies, and we have one of them with us today, and that's Melodía. So thank you for everything you've done to get your straight brothers and sisters to.
Well, thank you for including me. I think it's important that we move forward together to accomplish anything, and we amass our resources to solve these issues and progress.
And I know there are folks out there about my age who are reluctant to join AARP, but I highly recommend it.
Wait, are you old enough to join AARP?
Thank you. Oh, Vic, it's just so lovely.
You only have to be 50.
I was about to say, did she slide you a 20?
I earned it.
But it's well worth it, and we have Aaron and I have both enjoyed being members, and look forward to tapping even more of those resources. So thank you, Melodía, for being here and representing AARP, and just thank you. It's great.
This is the third one of these meetings that you've had. There was one in Collin County, one in Dallas, and then this one was in Fort Worth. As people are getting together and talking, what are some of the ideas that people have had?
You mean for planning what topics to come up with?
No, for some solutions.
Oh.
Usually the first thing that comes up is, of course, training and LGBT sensitivity. The state of California requires it for all staff in nursing homes, assisted care, memory care. They require every year for every staff person to get that training.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be a dream?
Wow.
Yeah, here you can't even report abuse on a gay person.
Well, you can report it. It's just that we're not listed.
They're not going to do anything about it.
Well, I don't know if they will or not, but they don't list us. So
I might get more traction just reporting abuse to a person than to an LGBT person.
Right. So that's one of the first things that comes up. There's another thing that it will be like moving mountains, I believe, but it is this. In our transgender panel, it came up at the last session that one of our speakers had a niece in med school, and so our transgender speaker asked her niece how much time they had spent in med school. Now, med school is very long.
And intense.
How much time had they spent on the conditions of transgender? And she said 1 hour.
Wow.
In all the years of med school, 1 hour. So that is one of those long-term kind of things. How do we impact that? That's going to take being friendly with UNT Health Science Center, who is opening a new med school with TCU. And actually, Vic could tell us a little bit about what might come out of Dr. Jan's work. Go ahead.
Yeah, the University of Health... What? Oh, turn.
You can just turn.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm turned. At the University of North Texas Health Science Center, we have a pharmacy program. We have pharmacy, DO, PA, GSP. All of these programs are medically geared towards creating providers that are competent in their fields, but there really isn't much in the way of training for the LGBT community, specifically trans issues, but in general. So in the PA program, we started a cultural and sensitivity course. Cultural diversity is not just confined to LGBT, but we included a panel, and it was at that panel that we had all the L's, the G's, the B's, the T's represented. The pharmacy school came and attended the panel, and Dr. Michael Jan had a great idea for creating a track course. It's a semester-long optional course for the pharmacy community, that specifically addresses the LGBT issues. And that's an entire semester long of education on what we as a community are looking for, what we need, what we're really hoping to get. He told me on Saturday that he's received a lot of interest from above him on the program itself and the types of education that it's going to offer. And I really hope that we eventually offer this to the entire campus, not just restricting it to the pharmacy program. But that's an example of teaching in the community to try and bring people into our awareness, to let them know these are the needs that we have, and in these needs, we're not really someone or something to be afraid of.
You know, one of the things that you said earlier in the show, Kathy, is that you're going to be surveying nursing homes and extended care facilities, and it's going to be an equality index type of thing. What types of things are you going to be asking the different facilities?
We're going to be asking about programs for the LGBT community that's there, and training for the staff in sensitivity. And it's about a 15-question kind of survey, and we'll give ratings very similar to the municipal equality index. Give ratings for each of those if they have this or that. I'm sorry I can't tell you the whole list, but that's the kind of thing we're looking for.
Yeah, and that's what it's looking for.
What their policies are in regards to same-sex couples being together, those kinds of questions.
And I hope also for there's a score for LGBT employees, so that they are a non-discriminator in the workplace as well. Because I think one of the strongest things we can find is an employee who is an out proud LGBT person on staff in any capacity, I think makes a big difference, because they're a coworker, and now that's a new relationship people have to deal with. That's a colleague, that's a peer, and we found that's very true in politics. You know, when anyone on the council, for example, the city council in Dallas has been openly LGBT. It's a big influence on their peers, and they changed their votes. In fact, that was evident in our non-discrimination ordinance in 2002. So I think having peers is really important. So if they have a non-discrimination policy in their hiring and promotions and all of their employment, I think that's incredibly important.
How has marriage equality, now that it's legal nationwide, how has that changed the game, I guess, in nursing facilities and assisted living facilities, or has it at all so far? I mean, it's only been legal, a year and a half.
Yeah, I think it's just new territory, uncharted territory for everyone involved, and it's issues surfacing left and right. We're all learning together, and we rely on organizations like the LGBT Committee on Aging to help lead this effort and educate us on the issues that we're facing. But like I said, Texas is very poor, has very poor nursing home quality. So AARP, our issue in the next legislative session is to make sure that is to lobby for enhanced nursing home quality care, making sure that the state has measures in place so that nursing home have to, achieve a certain amount of quality to make sure their patients are safe, and then we're there to make sure that it's inclusive as well.
One of the topics at our summit was on the unique legal and financial challenges for the aging LGBT community, whether you're married or not. Now, I can't give you the specific content, but most of it, just as Melodía said, is testing 1, 2, 3. And as we know, the agenda for our governor and our attorney general and our lieutenant governor includes reducing the benefits of being married for the same-sex marriages. So I think there'll be a lot of work to be done in that area, because we don't know how it's going to work. But if the leaders of our state are moving in that direction, if our nursing homes are the lowest in the country, there is so much to be done.
Yeah. One of the things that I've found since marriage equality is a whole lot, it's not more acceptance, it's among people for whom it was not an issue. For people who just hadn't thought about it much, oh, they want to get married, who cares? And it was kind of a type of a reaction. All of a sudden, after marriage equality, what I was noticing is those people, oh, it's legal. So it's just a normal thing. And making it normal helps. With the transgender community and the Jewish community, there was big discussion. All synagogues need to be welcoming, and of course they do. So the question came up, what do you do when a transgender person comes into your synagogue? You know what the answer was? Open the door. You say hello. But it's just common sense.
You might even say shalom.
Yeah, you might, and you also might say welcome.
Yeah.
There's so much of this that can be solved when you just get people to realize it's just another person you're caring for. Yep. A lot of transgender issues, they're not going to be specific body matches, whatever, or a lot of it is just, ooh, she's transgender. Ooh, what do I do with this person? You say hello. She needs help being fed. It has nothing to do with anything else.
Yep.
That's for us, that's really part of the focus of training our medical staff at UNTHSC. We want people to have exposure and experience going into it so that instead of just seeing a label, they see a person. They see a person that needs help. They don't need to judge, okay, well, wait, this is someone who's transgender. What do I do with that concept of transgender? We want them to just be familiar enough and comfortable enough with the terms, with the ideas, that they look past that. They see the person, as you say, walking into the synagogue or walking into the clinic that just needs help. And what help can I provide this person that has walked in?
A lot of the things that need to be done. Your job is to change the sheets. It's not your job to change the lesbian sheets. It's, your job is to feed the people. It's not your job to feed the transgender person. Your job is to, is to play bingo with the crowd, not to play white bingo.
Yeah.
It just seems so simple, and it's something that's being made into a real issue.
And that's where education is going to have to work to make it back into something simple, because it's being overworked. It's being turned into something super complicated, and it doesn't need to be. And the only thing that will fix that is teaching people that, hey, it really isn't complicated. It's okay.
And I think to that, there was a study done a couple of years ago that found that 75% of white people only live their lives, in their daily lives, with white people. They don't have any friends who are people of color. They don't have any friends who are deaf. They don't have any friends who are, anybody exactly like them. Little people. They don't have any experience with LGBT people. It's just a problem. And it's one of those things that education oftentimes turns on every light bulb, just because they haven't had the world experience, because they've isolated themselves in, they only go to church with white people, they only go to work with white people, they only live in a neighborhood with white people, so they don't deal with anybody.
On the other side of the table.
Yeah.
At least I get to sit.
I have hope that at least some people will take this education to heart and say, oh my gosh, I've been missing this all my life. I never even knew this was an issue, and I want to be there to help. I hope that's the reaction we see.
It seems to be fairly well received, at least by our attendees and such. But I'll also say this. It's true, you have a lot of people who think that they live their lives without ever knowing somebody who's different from them. But I'm a healthcare provider I specifically treat the mentally and physically challenged. And you think, well, there aren't very many mentally and physically challenged people, or people who know people like that, until I start talking to them. And hey, you know what, actually, is that what you do? I have this son, I have this daughter, or I have this friend who has a son or a daughter who could really use your help. So I think until they start thinking a little bit farther around their community, maybe they don't think they live or know or help with someone, live, know, or work with someone who is different from them, until they start looking around them and saying, oh yeah, actually maybe I do.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
So where does the coalition go from here? And we have a few extra minutes because the next show is running a little bit late, so we're going to just keep going. We need to stop in a minute for the top of the hour. But
in addition to the Senior Living Facility Equality Index, we are, for instance, and I will be speaking to Tarrant County, we are collaborating, we're in the process of creating, along with the Alzheimer's Association, we can't create this by ourselves. So we have a collaborative project with them to create support groups for caregivers in the LGBT community whose partner or someone in their family has dementia. And we are just starting that. And I think we probably had about 15 people at the summit sign up to be part of a focus group, because first we have to do a focus group to figure out what exactly is needed and how should it be presented, and is it to be different from other support groups that the Alzheimer's Association already does. So that's another project we have. We're focused in these areas of health. I told you what we're doing in housing. And another area is advocacy. We are in the process of creating our grassroots and top of the blade kind of advocacy all across the North Texas area in collaboration with Equality Texas and AARP.
hold on, we just need to do our top of the hour.
You're listening to Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Okay, yes, it happened.
What time is it?
Okay. It's 2 o'clock, and the next show, they just called, they're on their way. There was some traffic outside. So.
Okay, great. So we have a couple of those kinds of projects. We also have our sights on the large hospital corporations and what are they doing with their staff. When you start looking at those websites and you see what kind of training they're offering their staff, we know there's a huge need there too. Some of them don't know where to go with this. They have something happening, but it's not nearly enough to reach all the way down to the CNA, because that's the person who will be dealing with patients. And in a nursing home, it is a person who is not educated with a RN who will be taking care of the people living there.
Okay, I have one last question. One of the concerns for people living in nursing homes and assisted care facilities is that there's going to be discrimination, so they go back into the closet. For some of us, that's not possible because we've never been in a closet, so we don't know how to do that.
Or it's been a very long time since we've been in a closet.
You do closet training?
For David, it's been decades and decades and decades.
We're in a closet?
No, that's the thing. And especially now with kids coming out at the age of 12, there is no going back into a closet. But I'm in that category. There's no going back into that closet because I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how to do it, and I have a big mouth.
Okay, so we do
So
know.
why is everybody in the studio laughing at that one?
We're in agreement, David.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
I don't know how to keep quiet is what I'm saying.
We're laughing with you, David.
Yeah,
What we have seen happen in example cases is that when a couple goes, one of them goes into the nursing home and they are not more than treated equally, they are accepted, nobody gets upset with them, they stay. If that's not the case, they go to another nursing home. So what we want to do is tell you which one before you go to the nursing home.
And you know something, when I had to put my father into an Alzheimer's care facility, his big concern was, what if I don't like it here? And I said, and he lived in Florida, wanted to stay in Florida because his option was to come with me, and I said, we don't have a long-term lease here. Give it a shot. If you like it, stay here. If you don't, we'll find another place, or again, you'll come live with me. So I guess that is the real
right
answer.
Now, right now, that's our option.
Yeah, because I know personally, I'm not staying there and taking that kind of abuse.
No, and the more you do that, the better it is for the next person in the younger generation. For instance, me. And I appreciate if you go in and make a lot of noise.
I love you, Kathy.
And I would, because the other half of it is not move, it's move and sue their butts. I want to thank Vic Holmes, Melodía Gutiérrez, and Kathy Bowser, who were our guests today. They're from the Coalition for Aging LGBT. Thank you so much. And Vic,
If I could just say one more thing.
Wait. Yeah,
pledge drive, and is that it?
Yeah, now you're on.
If I could just say one more thing, and it kind of goes towards your pledge drive. So, as we said at the beginning, we as a gay community really work hard to make sure that our community is taken care of. We really do a lot of things ourselves. And one of the things that everybody listening to this can do is support this station, because this is how you're getting this news. This is how you're getting the information to help you get through your community. So I strongly encourage you to support the station, but also remember that we are going to be living in the world in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Do we want it to be just like it is right now? Is this exactly how you want it to be, or do you want it to be better than this? So we really have to start working to build that world now, because 10 years from now we may not be able to. When we go to a nursing home, we may not have the ability to change things. So we have to do it now.
Thank you.
Thanks, Axel.
This is William, hopefully your favorite videographer from Two Hats Publishing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please leave comments below, or like, follow, or subscribe to us and get notices of all our videos. We love it, even when you call.